Helldivers 2 is now out on Xbox. We'll take a look at the differences between the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Call of Duty backs down from one of the things that they were going to be bringing over to Black Ops 7. Another game delays because of Hollow Knight Silksong. Herman Hulse talks about PlayStation and failures and how they want to fail. Pretty interesting based off of the recent events that have happened over there. Then we have a couple more announcements here. Skate gets early access and Acclaim. They're back. And they're going to be starting off with a showcase. Now, before we do get into it, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, like it. All of those things helps grow the channel, helps grow this community. I appreciate it. But for now, let's get into the news. Helldivers 2, a first-party PlayStation published game here, is now out, and I should also say developed here first-party by PlayStation because Nixxes software was a part of this Xbox port. It is now out here on Xbox. How did Nixxes do? How did they get this game running on the Xbox Series X and S? It looks pretty good. I mean, Helldivers 2 is not an insanely good-looking game. It is a good-looking game, but you can tell it's not the most demanding game in the world, so it's not shocking that it should run absolutely fine on the Xbox consoles. But here is how it's running. This is courtesy of Fusion Xbox testing on YouTube. And if you're on the Xbox Series X, Helldivers 2 runs at a 4K resolution in quality mode and 1080p in performance mode with the dynamic resolution scaling that could be involved here. The quality mode seems to stick to the locked 30 frames per second, but the performance mode gives you the 60 FPS, a variable FPS. Sometimes there are drops, they say, to as low as 53 frames per second when things get very hectic within the game, which it can if you ever played Helldivers 2 before. But I mean, that's not terrible. It depends on how often that happens. You're not really going to notice a massive drop here in FPS. So it looks like it is running well. 4K 30 frames per second. We're seeing more and more of this now on these current generation of consoles. One of the things that was promised at the beginning of this generation was 4K 60 FPS. We've rarely seen that consistent amongst all the games, and I think most people have kind of just been okay here with at least having a performance mode of 60 FPS, even if that resolution isn't 4K, because the FPS for most people is more important for that smooth experience. So you're getting that here with Helldivers 2 on the Series X. Now on the Series S, it is set here to run at 1440p in quality mode and then 1080p. Believe in performance. So they say quality mode here, but I think that's a typo. So 1080p in quality mode, but they say potentially a native resolution of 635p. So obviously upscaled there. And they say you can also notice the reduced visuals in this version, but the snippet of the performance mode footage here suggests it's actually more stable than on the Xbox Series X, running at a consistent 60 frames per second. And then the quality mode seems to stick mostly at a locked 30 frames per second. So it's a good port. They did a good job here. You're getting both quality, you're getting both performance, 60 FPS, more stable on the Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S again shows that it is a little console that can do some good stuff here, and depending on what type of screen you're playing on, with the size of, if you're playing on a monitor and stuff, the Series S will be great for these shooters. They're very good, especially for first-person shooters like Call of Duty and Halo, where they give you up to that 120 FPS mode, but it's good here that we're at least getting the 60 frames per second here for Helldivers 2. So overall, looks like it is a pretty good port here going forward. And Nixxes, they're a good studio. They do good with bringing their games over. We'll see if they are working on more games in the future. We are hearing more rumors almost on a daily basis now that games like Returnal are coming over to Xbox. We've also heard rumors that there are single player experiences right now currently in development that could be coming over to Xbox. But of course, we will not know that until it is announced. But I could see it happening. It makes sense now with the way that these consoles are going, with the future of gaming, with the way that these companies are measuring the success of their companies. It's not how many console sales are out there. It's what is the engagement and how many people are buying the games and spending a lot of time within those games. One game that a ton of people spend all year on, all the time, is Call of Duty. Black Ops 6 has been under fire recently because of the skins, and people are just kind of annoyed of seeing Beavis and Butthead and American Dad running around in a game that is supposed to be a militaristic style of shooter. They want more realistic, more gritty skins going forward. Call of Duty seems to be listening, and this is a good thing because this is where the competition of Battlefield 6 comes in, and it forces Call of Duty to listen to the community more if they are outspoken about the things that they don't like, where previously they really had no competition at all. They could do what they want, still going to sell like crazy no matter what. But they're listening here to the thing about the skins here, as they will no longer carry forward your skins into Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Now, I know some people probably would be pretty annoyed about this because you spend your money on these skins, you like these skins, and when they announce that you're going to carry those over, that is something that is a good thing for the people who enjoy using these skins, because you're not going to have to go and rebuy some other ones that potentially you don't want because you already have ones that you like from Black Ops 6. So you kind of look at it here as twofold. One, they're listening to the community, and two, it helps them make more money because they're not allowing people to carry their skins over. So they're just going to be releasing all new skins that people are going to go out and buy. But they say this here, that in a news briefing on the Call of Duty website addressed the identity of Call of Duty, and it discussed Black Ops 7 being a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2. However, the statement also recognized new changes that will be reflected in Black Ops 7. They say this, that Black Ops 7 needs to feel authentic to Call of Duty and its setting, and that is why Black Ops 6 operator and weapon content will not carry forward to Black Ops 7. Double XP tokens and gobblegums will still carry forward because we recognize your time and progression are important. This change applies only to Black Ops 7. Call of Duty Warzone is not affected, and all your Black Ops 6 content stays usable there. They say operator skins, and weapons for Black Ops 6 will no longer carry forward into Black Ops 7. And this is directly because people complained. People were very annoyed with some of the skins that were dropping into the game. I wonder if the sales of those skins weren't as good as they expected them to be. They pay all that money for the licensing agreement. They don't sell as well. They see all the complaints online, and then they start to think, yeah, we got to make some changes here, especially with the new game coming out. With a game like Battlefield 6 that you know more likely than not will have none of those skins in there, and it'll be just a very gritty style of aesthetic to the game. They want to compete with that, and they're going to listen to the community, who have been pretty outspoken about the things that they did not like here from Call of Duty and Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, Activision also said this year that they definitely are absolutely listening. And I wonder if this is they're getting spooked here by Battlefield 6 a little bit here. They say, some of you have said we've drifted from what made Call of Duty unique in the first place, immersive, intense, visceral, and in many ways grounded. That feedback hits home and we take it seriously. We hear you. So they are directly addressing a lot of the things that people have been saying and complaining about online. And we'll see how this does transfer over to Call of Duty Black Ops 7. The game, to me, from what they did show off, looks like it's great. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. Lots of content that is coming over to it. I'm pretty excited to play the campaign as well. And with the changes that they've made to the campaign seem pretty interesting. And we do have a beta coming up in October. We'll see how this game does do. I still think it'll be a top selling game. I still think it'll do very, very well. And it will just have a great year now of two juggernaut first-person shooters going at it. Battlefield 6, which from all accounts, from beta numbers and everything we've seen, is going to be extremely successful. And then you'll have Black Ops 7 that will also, more likely than not, be extremely successful based off of history. And you're going to have them both going at each other, having to one up. So this competition between them, as I've said many times as we are leading up to the beta of Battlefield 6, is going to be a good thing, and Call of Duty needs it. And now they're making some changes here that the community has asked for. A big game that's coming out in September, Hollow Knight Silksong. We finally got the release for it. We saw yesterday that it made a game delay because they didn't want to be anywhere around it. It was coming out. Hollow Knight Silksong is coming out September 4th. The game that was delayed is coming out a day before it. Now another game is delaying because they don't want to be anywhere around for Hollow Knight Silksong. And they did a pretty funny announcement here. Baby steps. Climbing up the character here in baby steps is delaying the release of it on September 23rd. On PS5 and PC. And I mean, they directly are saying it is because of this, simply because of the video that they did put out here. Baby Steps is a funny one. It's one of, I guess, PlayStation's console exclusives that they have this year on top of Ghost of Yote. I don't know how well this game is going to be, but it seems like it's just kind of a comedic style of game, a walking simulator comedic game that people will jump in and try out. Not sure that one is going to sell well or do crazy numbers regardless of when it does release, even if it is out of the release week or window of Hollow Knight, but they've delayed it, and it is because of that, which is pretty insane to think about. Just small little team, a small little indie game from Team Cherry. They come out with the first one. That one does crazy, sells 15 million copies. Now they have all of this power to push games out of their release window with the release of the sequel. PlayStation, as we know, they've failed a lot lately when it comes to games as a service, canceling games. Concord was a massive failure. And Concord is a game that they allowed to go through the entire development stage, go through marketing, release before they realized that it was a failure, and they canceled it 6 days after it did come out. You would have thought with any sort of quality assurance or any sort of looking at this game and looking at the community feedback from it, even before it came out, that they would have canceled it previous to actually putting it fully, but they didn't. And they don't want that to happen again. As Herman Hulse here talks about PlayStation and talks about where they want the studios to go in terms of failing. He says, I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply. PlayStation Studios head says Concord taught them a big lesson. This is Herman Hulse talking with the Financial Times, and his comments refer to the failure of Concord, which was in development for around 8 years. They say they made it all its way to full release. And he explains here that PlayStation has implemented a stricter and more thorough testing process now. He says, we have since put in place much more rigorous and more frequent testing in very many different ways. The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary that oversight is. And according to the report, some of the new measures include more of a focus on group testing, learning from other Sony teams, and building closer relationships between the executives who spend hundreds of hours playing games before they are released. Really, what this tells me more than anything is that Concord just continued to fall through the cracks, or that PlayStation was just kind of more relaxed and they were willing to take more chances. What Herman Hulse is basically saying here is that PlayStation's taking even less chances now than they were doing previously. And you're probably going to see a lot less risk going forward from PlayStation. Not that they had major risk, because I mean, they were re-releasing all of their games. They were putting remasters and stuff. Concord was a risk. That was one of their first big risks. It failed, and I think you're going to see a lot less of that. It really does call into question fair games. Will fair games ever come out? We haven't heard or really seen anything about that recently. So I wonder where that one is. Is it just a matter of time before fair games does get canceled? Or maybe they're thinking, if we can release these games on Xbox, on PC, potentially on the Nintendo Switch too, there is a higher threshold here to take that risk because you have more people that are willing to go out and buy it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here with the future of multiplayer and games as a service games coming out from PlayStation. Skate gets its early access announcement. I'm excited to play this one. I do have my reservations about it. We'll see if it can replicate how good the original ones were. But it is coming here, early access, free to play. It's the first to release in 15 years, and it is coming on September 16th. They put out a little trailer here showing a bunch of people skating around, doing various tricks. Looks like it's going to be a fun game. But early access for free if you do want to try it out, coming out on September 16th. I just hope they can replicate what the first one did bring to the table. And the overall feeling that people had, especially because they were going from Tony Hawk, I think a lot of people, to Skate, and it was a nice change. It was something different, more sim, and it felt really good when you were able to get off a line of tricks that looked kind of realistic, but also difficult to pull off. So we'll see if this one does it. It seems like it is going to be a very online oriented game, especially from that trailer. We were seeing a bunch of different people skating around, and I wonder how people are going to take to that. Acclaim is back, and Acclaim is known for 80s, 90s, early 2000s, a lot of wrestling games that came from them. An interesting publisher. It is officially back here in a big way. They have announced that they are actually going to be having a showcase within the next month to kind of tell us what is going on here. The publisher returned after going bankrupt 20 years ago. They put out a video. They announced this, and they say, now in a message posted on the resurrected publisher's X account, it's been announced that a showcase will take place on September 10th at 11:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They say transmission received. Tune in to the Play Acclaim showcase on September 10th, where you will begin this exciting new chapter for Acclaim. You can watch it on the YouTube channel and everything. So interesting there. CEO Alex Joseph is actually the former founder and CEO of Graffiti Games. He resurrected Acclaim, and he says this: "We're not here to chase ghosts. We're here to take the energy and chaos that made Acclaim unforgettable and channel it into something new. The old screens are cracking, and what's coming through is something exciting and different." So it looks like they're going to be trying out new games, not just going back to their older IPs. And they say to accomplish this, an advisory board of esteemed industry leaders has been set up to shape the public's future, with board members including Russell Binder, the founding partner of licensing and merchandising company Striker Entertainment, Mark Kaplan, the founder of business consultancy firm Ridge Partners, and the wrestler and entrepreneur Jeff Jarrett, who Jarrett previously starred in Acclaim's WWF Attitude game, said here, "For more than 3 decades, I've had the privilege to have been a part of both the wrestling and gaming universes, and I'm thrilled to now be a partner in the revival of Acclaim, an iconic publisher known for releasing some of the most legendary games of the 80s and 90s. So we will see what they have in store. It looks like, as he mentions, the CEO, that they're trying to break through with something new. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're going to go back to older IPs, and I wonder what the first couple of releases they have for us, but I will definitely be tuning into that showcase. But that's it for me. I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.